We're going to round this number. I want you to practice reading it. So go ahead and quietly read this number to yourself. This number is 935,292. When I look down here at my first step, it asks me to round to the nearest 100,000. So I'm going to round this to the nearest 100,000. I need to find my 100,000s place. If I struggle to find my 100,000s place, I'm going to start by counting by my ones. So I've got, this is the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, the thousands place, the 10,000s place, and the 100,000s place. I'm going to underline the 100,000s place so that I remember what digit I'm working with. Now I'm going to ask myself a few questions. I'm going to ask myself, how many hundreds do I have in this number? How many hundreds? I don't want to know how many hundreds I have. I'm sorry, I want to know how many 100,000s do I have, since I'm rounding to the nearest 100,000. So how many 100,000s do I have? I have 900,000s. So I'm going to put 900,000 as my bottom baseline number. Okay, so I've got my bottom number of 900,000. My second question is, how many will I have if I add 1? 1 what? Sometimes it can be hard to remember what I'm adding. So I go back to my problem. This problem is asking us to round to the nearest 100,000. So I'm going to add 100,000. So if I add 100,000 to 900,000, what am I going to add up with? I'm going to end up with 10,000,000s. Now, when I have 10,000,000s, just like when we used our place value chart, I am going to regroup those 10,000,000s, and I'm going to get 1,000,000. If you're confused by this, stop, pause the video, and use your place value chart. Put in 900,000 and put in one more. Take a look at what you would do with all those dots. Okay. Now that I have my baseline, I need to figure out what my midpoint number. My midpoint number is going to be midway between 900,000 and 1 million. So go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to figure out what would go in the midline. In the midline, I'm still going to be in the 900,000. I'm going to be at 950,000. Because that's going to be halfway between 900,000 and 100,000. You can imagine that you're counting up your number line by 10,000s. That would make us move a total of 100,000 by the time we get to the top. Okay. Your next job is to place the number on the number line. So this, I'm going to use the actual number from the problem, 935,292. And I'm going to place that on the number line. I want you to take a second and to place it yourself. Remember, we ask ourselves, is this greater than, less than, or equal to 950,000? By asking that, it may help you decide where to place your number. So go ahead and pause the video and place 935,292 on the number line. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you placed your number right about here. Okay. What's our next step? I hope you remember that our next step is to check our jumps. So we're going to jump from 935,292 down to 900,000, and we're going to do it up from 935,292 to 1 million. Notice I'm not making my jump go from 935,292 to 950,000. I'm just jumping to the two benchmark numbers. I can only round to 900,000 or 1 million. I'm never going to round to 950,000. So don't make a jump there. Okay, which of those two is the smallest jump? That's right. If this jump right here is smallest, so 935,292 is closer to 900,000. So it would round to 900,000. We're going to put that up here. Okay. Now, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try to do the same process, but using our 10,000s. Come on back here when you finish, and we'll check to see if you're right. Okay, welcome back. So when we look at this problem, we are rounding to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to, hopefully you underlined your place value and found that there's a 3 in the 10,000s place. So you should have 930,000 as your bottom benchmark number and 940,000 as your top benchmark number. When I added one 10,000 to 930,000, I get to 940,000. Halfway between 9,300 and 9,400 is 9. Oh, I've got a comma in the wrong place there. But is pardon me while I work with this. Is 935,000. 935,000 is halfway between 930,000 and 940,000. My next step was to place my number 935,292 on the place value on the number line. If you notice, this is very close to 935,000, but 935,292 is 292 greater than 935,000. So I'm going to put it just above the midpoint. Next, make your jumps. And you should notice that it is a smaller jump to get to 940,000. So 935,292 rounds to 940,000 when you round to the nearest 100. Hey, there's one more to do. Go ahead and do it all on your own. When you come back, I'll show you the answer. If you're still confused on how to do this, you may need to ask for some help. $935,292 is closer to 935,000. So 935,292 rounds to 935,000. If you got that right, great job. Move on to the practice problem. If you got any of these problems wrong or are still confused, make sure you find a teacher and ask for some help.